Right, I shot this spiker at 448 metres with the 6mm Creedmoor and the 108 grain Hornady ELD-M. I was pretty confident from the sound and the way the animal moved that I'd hit him well. So I had a cup of tea and sidled around. I had to come up and then sidle around to come and find him, and he was shot just the other side of that little ridge. He's probably run 50 yards, I'd say, and he's fallen over there. There's a great big pool of blood just up there, and he's come down and landed a couple of spots. There's a big lump of blood there. Anyway, so I pulled the skin back off the shoulder. This was my point of aim. Right on that point, he was. I wanted a front of lungs highlight shot, and didn't quite knock him over. I mean, he's run a little bit. But that's the in there through the leg. This is interesting. Carnage underneath the shoulder. It's blown a very sizable hole in the rib cage on the way in, having taken some leg bone with it. I'd say that's the lungs sticking out there. So already unsurvivable. And if I just turn him over, I have to put this down for a moment. Okay, let's look at the exit wound. So I've got a photo that I took of the bullets as I found them in situ. I've basically just chucked them back in there. It's pretty representative of how I found them. So you've got the jacket with some lead in there and a piece of lead there. You've got a relatively small exit hole. Trying to get the light on it is the trick there. There's a relatively small exit hole, a lot smaller than the my finger just goes in there, a lot smaller than the entry wound behind the leg. So what's happened with this bullet is it's fragmented at the front end of the bullet immediately as it's gone through the leg bone, taken bone with it, blown a 2-inch hole through the, well, it's probably even bigger than 2 inches, through the rib cage on the way in, decimated the lungs, caused a huge bleed. Animals bolted, made it all of 50 yards, most of which I think he's fallen downhill. So that is a pretty textbook performance for me of a small caliber bullet dumping all its energy where it counts and not in the surrounding countryside, which is a problem with this medium range shooting. This was 448 meters, so it's medium range shooting on full-sized animals. You do not want hard bullets that push through the animal with a narrow wound channel and don't do a huge amount of work. You really want the bullet to expend pretty much all of its energy right in there. So pleased with that. Glad the sun's come out. I'm going to whip out the back stakes.